The topic for today's discussion is mass flow meter. So let's see what is a mass flow meter. A mass flow meter is also known as an inertial flow meter. It is a device that measures the mass flow rate of a fluid traveling through a tube. The mass flow rate is the mass of the fluid which is traveling past a fixed point per unit time. And the knowledge of the mass flow rate is necessary in combustion fluid control, in reactor recipe formulations, and in many other applications, starting from mining and dredging to food, pulp and paper, pharmaceuticals, and the chemical industry. So let's see the available types of mass flow meters. And on the first, we are going to see about the Coriolis mass flow meter. So this meter works on the effect called as Coriolis, hence it is named so. And these meters are considered to be true mass meters since they tend to measure the mass rate of flow directly, while the other flow meter technologies measure the volumetric flow. Since mass does not change, no adjustments are needed for varying fluid characteristics. Hence, a Coriolis meter operates in a linear fashion. And this is how a Coriolis mass flow meter is going to look in picture. And the most common type of unit includes a U-shaped flow tube, a sensory assembly, an electronics unit. So moving on to the working of the Coriolis mass flow meter. In this meter, the liquid passes through a U-shaped tube which vibrates in an angular harmonic oscillation. Coriolis forces will then deform the tube and further vibration component gets added to the already oscillating tube. This added vibration element results in a phase shift or twist in parts of the tube. This resulting phase shift, which is directly proportional to the liquid mass flow rate, is then measured with the help of sensors. This measured information is further transferred to the electronics unit where it gets transformed into a voltage which is proportional to the mass flow rate. Moving on to the principle of the Coriolis mass flow meter, the flow is guided into a U-shaped tube. When an oscillating excitation force is applied to the tube, causing it to vibrate, the fluid flowing through the tube is because of the Coriolis acceleration, which acts in an opposite direction on either side of the applied force. For example, when the tube is moving upward during the first half of the cycle, the fluid flowing into the meter resists being forced up by pushing down the tube. On the opposite side, the liquid flowing out of the meter resists having its vertical motion decreased by pushing up on the tube, as shown in the title. This action causes the tube to twist. When the tube is moving downward during the second half of the vibration cycle, it twists in the opposite direction. This twist results in the phase difference, or you can also say it as a time lag. The major advantage of Coriolis flow meter is that it measures the mass flow rate directly, which eliminates the need to compensate for changing the temperature, viscosity, and the pressure conditions. A more recent single straight tube design is available to measure some dirty or abrasive liquids that may clog the older U-shaped design. So for working properly, a minimum gas density of 4.5 kg per meter cube is required, and that depends upon the vendor to vendor. And theoretically, the force is given by Fc is equal to 2m omega v, where m is the mass, omega is angular velocity, and v is velocity. And both U as well as the ohm-shaped Coriolis meters causes pressure drop as the flow is increased, resulting in the permanent pressure loss. Consequently, the liquids near the boiling point could introduce cavitation as the pressure across the meter drops below the vapor pressure of the liquid. So as soon as the pressure recovers above the vapor pressure, the bubbles implode. Now the cavitation will cause the meter to malfunction, and this must be to avoided at all times. The main feature of this Coriolis meter is that it can be applied for a variety of application ranging from adhesives and coating to liquid nitrogen. And the rangeability of the curved tube design may vary from 100:1 to 200:1, whereas for a straight tube meters, its range is limited above 30:1 to 50:1. Besides, accuracy of the straight tube meters is low. In case of Coriolis meters, no compensation is needed for temperature and pressure variations. Also, mass measurement is insensitive to changes in viscosity and density. They are particularly helpful for handling liquids whose viscosity changes according to the velocity, while temperature and pressure remains constant. And these are also called as universal meters since they are capable enough to measure nearly all liquids, slurries and gases, and they can be employed to measure liquid density also. No Reynolds number restrictions are allied with these flow meters, and they are also not affected by the deformations in the velocity profile. The next type of mass flow meter is the angular momentum mass flow meter. The principle of angular momentum can be described by referring to the Newton's second law of the angular motion and the definition of the angular momentum using the following notation is given below. And h is for angular momentum, I is for moment of inertia, omega is angular velocity, alpha is angular acceleration, t is torque, r is radius of gyration, m for mass, and t time. So moving on to the derivations, we say that according to the Newton's second law of motion, the expression is T is equal to I alpha, and it also defines that H is equal to T omega. But since by definition we say that I is equal to M R squared, so with this let's change our equation 1 as T is equal to mr squared alpha, and thus 2 becomes h is equal to m squared alpha omega. So when this, since alpha is equal to omega by t, so equation 4 becomes mr squared omega by t. So hence solving 7 with the mass flow rate and m by t, we get it as m by t is equal to t by r squared omega. So dividing both the sides of the equations, we get it to be as h by t, m by t, r squared omega. Now, since the torque is in terms of force, the right hand side of the equation 8 must be multiplied by 9.8 m per second square to be obtained dimensionally correct equation. Therefore, since r square is a constant of any given system, the flow of fluid can be determined if an angular momentum is introduced into the fluid stream and measurements are made of the torque which is produced by its angular momentum and of the fluid's angular velocity. The next is constant torque hysteresis clutch. And another angular momentum type mass flow meter eliminates the necessity of making a torque measurement after imparting a constant torque to the fluid stream. And so the relationship between the mass flow and the torque is given by m by t is equal to capital T divided by r square omega. Therefore, t is held at a constant value, and since r square is a physical constant of any given system, the expression changes to m by t is equal to k by omega. The next type of mass flow meter is the impeller turbine mass flow meter, and this uses two rotating elements in the fluid stream, an impeller and a turbine. Both the elements contain channels through which the fluid flows. The impeller is driven at a constant speed by a synchronous motor through a magnetic coupling and imparts an angular velocity to the fluid as it flows through the meter. A typical turbine located downstream of the impeller removes all the angular momentum from the fluid and thus receives a torque which is proportional to the angular momentum. This turbine is restrained by a spring which deflects through an angle which is proportional to the torque exerted upon it by the fluid, and thus giving a measure of the mass flow. And next to the impeller we have the twin turbine mass flow meter. And in this instrument, two turbines are mounted on a common shaft. As shown in the picture which is given, a twin turbine mass flow meter. The two turbines are connected with a calibration torsion member. A reluctance type pickup is mounted over each turbine, and a strong magnet is located in each turbine within the twin turbine assembly itself. Each turbine is designed with a different blade angle, therefore there is a tendency for the turbine to rotate at different angular speeds. However, since the movement of the turbines is restricted by a coupling torque, the entire assembly rotates in a unison at an average speed, and an angular phase shift between the two turbines develops. This angle is a direct function of an angular momentum of the fluid. The angular momentum is a function of the mass flow. In the double turbine assembly, the turbines are not restricted by a spring, but the torsion meter that holds them together are twisted. Therefore, the angle developed between the two turbines is a direct function of the torsion or the torsion exerted by the system itself. With this, we have come to the end of mass flow meters. Thank you.